Hey everyone! Welcome to another Stonehearth Desktop Tuesday. Let's take a closer look at Alpha 24's building editor. Before I start, I should super clarify that this building editor is not yet in your hands because we're only just starting to work through major feedback and issues from our own internal playtests. If we release it to you in this state, your 1,000,001 bug reports and questions would probably drown us. Hopefully, this will change soon because your towns are amazing and we can't wait to see what you do with this tool. But until then, let's look specifically at how User Experience Designer Nikki created the cohesive building experience that we'll all be using soon. From Nikki's very first exposure to Stonehearth, she's known that the builder was her #1 priority. Based on the number of beautiful towns you all put out, creating and watching buildings coming together is one of Stonehearth's core joys, and based on all the feedback about the UX and bugs that you give us, it's also one of its deepest pain points. She knew that if she could just understand both, she could make the game 1,000,000 times better for everyone. So what is the existing builder's major pain points, so that we never repeat them? Well, 1, it has a huge learning curve. You must know a specific mental model in order to make progress in the existing builder. Basically, that you first lay out floors, then grow walls, and then attach roofs. If you try to do this in any other order, you will fail. Some people have of course spent tens or hundreds of hours in the tool and learned to create things of jaw-dropping beauty, but this mastery is expensive, and as developers it's a barrier we would prefer people not have to hurdle in order to enjoy our game. The second of the builder's pain points is that it's completely unforgiving. If you make a mistake with the mental model, you have to start over because undo is wonky and there's no tools to adjust things by 1 or 2 voxels left, right, up, or down. Finally, the builder is a pain because it offers you no feedback about what you're doing that goes against the model. So there's no warning that the builder cannot handle interior walls, for example, and there's no indication if you've designed something that is in fact unbuildable. Fixing these things, however, isn't enough to make an amazing experience, the kind that is so intuitive that you'll wonder why we didn't just think of it first. A really amazing experience actually starts with solid design principles tailored to the player and their goals, so that the developers can prototype tons of different interactions and figure out why some feel better than others. So Nikki played with lots of 3D creation tools and came up with the following experience goals for Stonehearth's builder. First, that it be a toy box for the imagination, that it be active and hands-on, and finally be simple and powerful. But how do you take a goal and create a whole design? Well, she thought a lot about how people talk about structures and concluded that in Stonehearth, people design structures to fill a purpose. A house is a bedroom/workshop, a warehouse is full of stockrooms sorted by type, an inn is bedrooms and a common area. Buildings, therefore, are made for purposes, and purposes are embodied by rooms. Making a building is the act of chaining together rooms and filling those rooms with decorative and functional things. So this is why, in the new building editor, the room is the primary unit of creation. The floor and grow walls tools have been consolidated into the room tool, and all floor plans are built from there. Next, Nikki established some ground rules for building. For example, that buildings must be connected to the ground by at least 1 voxel, and some rules for UI interactions, such as the idea that all actions that a player takes should have some form of reaction. For example, placing things should provide animation and sound, or unplaceable and unbuildable buildings should telegraph themselves via color. Finally, Nikki identified that basic interactions in the building experience should be tactile. Dragging, resizing, etc. should be done on the room or wall in question, supporting the toy box feel by giving you the sensation of having physically manipulated an object. At the same time, other interactions, like choosing from a giant array of things, should require a different palette-based interaction model, one that would appear in context when needed and disappear when not. The end result, which you can see in Nikki's first few Photoshop sketches of the building UI, is a design that is incredibly minimalist. A few controls, like basic tools, the build button, the cost panel, and undo-redo are always present at the edges of the space, but for the most part, players' attention is in the center of the screen where the building is going on. Palettes for materials, colors, decor, and options appear when wanted and disappear when not. Chris and Justin then took Nikki's basic mock-up and implemented a fast, ugly version of it in the UI of the game, side by side with the existing old building editor, just so that we could test that the basic interactions worked. Nikki then went through and made icons for all the buttons, and Justin is in the process of doing a CSS and polish pass on it. One thing that I'm personally very excited about is the fact that when you're building, the building is now the most solid thing in the world, and the whole background is actually fuzzed out. This is the opposite of the old building UI, where the building as a blueprint was semi-transparent. making it super hard to figure out what voxel you were editing or hanging stuff on. Though we did this originally to indicate that the building wasn't finished yet, it turned out to be the exact opposite of what people needed in order to make solid design decisions. In our first playtest of the new builder, we as a team were incredibly excited to see Chris's new infrastructure, the new tactile interactions, and the new UI come together at last into the cohesive experience that Nikki imagined when she first set out on this journey. Of course, we discovered a number of bugs and oversights, like the fact that fixtures must be built along with the walls in order for Hearthlings to make progress, meaning that if you haven't placed a carpenter's bench, your Hearthlings will not be able to proceed with building a wooden structure, or the fact that multiple structures can very easily all accidentally be part of the same building, creating construction surprises, or some baffling hard crashes in the navgrid code. Stairs and roofs also have a few weirdnesses going on with them as well in how they join or merge with their parent structure, and of course we haven't fully yet integrated building with terrain, so Hearthlings don't yet dig the buildings one voxel into the ground, something we intend to add as we fix these other issues. The team is working super hard on all these things now, because we can't wait to see what you do with this huge update to one of our favorite parts of Stonehearth. And that's it for this week. Let us know what you think here in the comments or in our forum at discourse.stonehearth.net. You can also find us on Twitch. A different member of our team streams our progress every week on Thursday at 6 p.m. PST on www.twitch.tv/Stonehearth. See you there, and see you next week.